David was a 38-year-old single dad who lived in New York with his little daughter, Emily. Life for him had been tough after losing his wife years ago, but Emily kept him grounded and gave him purpose. Despite being the CEO of a growing tech company, David always made time for his daughter. One sunny afternoon, he decided to take Emily to a cozy family diner near his office. For him, it was a way to slow down from the busy life of meetings, phone calls and constant deadlines that weighed heavily on his shoulders. Emily was only 7 years old, a bright, cheerful child who carried a heart full of kindness. She noticed everything, people, faces, emotions that others often ignored. While David scanned the menu and ordered their usual lunch, Emily's big brown eyes drifted outside the diner's window. She spotted a young woman, about 25, sitting quietly on the curb with a worn-out backpack by her side. The woman looked exhausted, her clothes old and wrinkled, her face pale with hunger. Emily frowned with worry, her small heart immediately aching for the stranger she saw outside. "Daddy," Emily whispered, tugging gently at her father's sleeve. "She looks hungry." David looked up from his coffee, curious. "Who, honey?" Emily pointed at the window, her eyes fixed on the young woman outside. David turned and noticed the stranger. At first, the practical side of him hesitated. After all, he was used to solving problems with logic, not emotions. But when he looked at his daughter's eyes, filled with compassion and innocence, his heart softened. Emily then asked, "Can I share my food with her, Daddy?" David smiled faintly, realizing his daughter was teaching him something that money and success never could. He nodded gently and said, "Of course, sweetheart. Let's do it together." Emily carefully picked up her plate, carrying her half-eaten sandwich with tiny but determined hands. David followed close behind as they stepped outside into the warm afternoon air. The woman looked up in surprise when Emily stopped in front of her. With a shy but brave voice, Emily said, "This is for you. I don't want you to be hungry." The young woman blinked, her tired eyes filling with tears as she accepted the plate. She smiled weakly and whispered, "Thank you, sweet girl." David crouched down to meet her gaze and asked softly, "Are you all right?" The woman introduced herself as Lily, explaining how she had been searching for work but hadn't eaten a proper meal in 2 days. She had come to the city chasing a dream, but life had been unkind. Listening to her story, David felt something stir deep within him, a reminder of life's fragile balance. Emily, still holding Lily's hand, looked up at her father with hopeful eyes. She didn't see Lily as a stranger, only as someone who needed kindness. David realized in that moment how powerful a child's innocent heart could be. A simple act, sharing food, had created an unexpected connection between 3 lives. For the first time that day, David thought maybe his daughter's lesson was one he truly needed to learn. David invited Lily to sit with them inside the diner. At first, she hesitated, embarrassed by her appearance, but Emily's bright smile convinced her. "Come sit with us," Emily said, tugging her hand. The warmth in the child's voice left no room for doubt. Lily sat across from them, feeling out of place yet grateful. David ordered extra food, and as the plates arrived, he watched silently as Lily ate with relief. Each bite seemed to give her strength back. Emily chatted happily, making Lily laugh softly for the first time in weeks. As they talked, David learned more about Lily's story. She had left her small town with dreams of becoming an artist, but without money or support, she found herself struggling to survive. Her savings ran out, and odd jobs weren't enough to cover rent. Still, she never gave up hope. David listened quietly, realizing her story wasn't much different from his early days, when he had nothing but an idea and determination. The difference was that he had caught a lucky break while Lily was still waiting for hers. Emily leaned across the table and asked innocently, "Daddy, can we help her more?" Her words carried a simple truth David couldn't ignore. He had always taught Emily about kindness, but now he saw her living it with every action. Looking at Lily, he made a decision. "I think we can," he said softly. Pulling out his business card, he slid it across the table. "Come by my office tomorrow. I might have a position for you, something stable to get you back on your feet." Lily's eyes widened in disbelief. Tears welled up in Lily's eyes as she held the card tightly. I don't know what to say, she whispered. David shook his head gently. Don't thank me. Thank my daughter. She's the one who saw you. Emily beamed, proud of herself, not realizing just how much impact her small act had made. For Lily, the kindness of a child and her father had shifted her path in a single afternoon. The hopelessness she carried for months began to fade, replaced by a spark of hope she thought she had lost. When they left the diner, the sun was setting over the city, painting the streets in a golden glow. Emily held both her father's and Lily's hands as they walked together, almost like a small family. David couldn't help but smile at the sight, realizing that true wealth wasn't about the numbers in his bank account, but about moments like these. Lily looked up at him with gratitude. Her life changed not by charity, but by kindness and respect. And for David, it was his daughter's innocent heart that made it all possible.